Famcast Media, bitch!
Good evening, demons and demonesses. The name's Kwame, and you're watching another episode of Satanic Panic.
Good evening, demons and demonesses. I know you guys probably haven't heard from me in a while. You might have thought, oh my gosh, Kwame's dead. What happened to Kwame? Why isn't he doing band reviews anymore? Well, I know it's been about 8 months. I think the last review I did was KK Reaper and the Carnies of Chaos, and I think the next few shows that I was supposed to go to afterwards were all cancelled due to COVID-19, but I'm not going to let that stop me from doing a band review. Oh no, sirree, Bob. You see, earlier this year, after I was invited on From the Dungeon podcast with D. Rotten, I received a gift. It was a vinyl record of the Burial Choir's first self-titled EP, which I consider myself lucky to have because apparently there's only 10 vinyls in existence. And D gave me his, so much respect for you, D. I love you, man. Now, originally I had recorded this review long ago. It was like about 5 or 6 months ago, and I honestly didn't really like how it turned out. So I will be re-reviewing it again, because I noticed there was lots of errors in my other one. Apparently there's like 2 other bands out there called the Burial Choir, and when I recorded my first review, I used the wrong logo of the wrong band for the band that I'm about to review, or should I say re-review now. So I apologize about that. But enough about all that rambling. This is going to be a first for me because this is the first stoner metal band that I've ever reviewed. So with great pleasure, I introduce to you the Burial Choir. The Burial Choir is a band founded in New Jersey, but currently based out of Wisconsin. It's a one-person metal band where basically one man, and yes, I said it, one man plays both the guitar, the bass, the drums, and does all of the other instruments all at once. There's 2 albums out at the moment. The Burial Choir's self-titled album, which was released in 2017, and the Relics album, which was released in 2019. Now, like I mentioned earlier, D. Rotten gave me a copy of the self-titled album, The Burial Choir, which features 3 tracks. Now, as soon as I got off of work that night, I popped that sucker right into the record player, and I listened to it quite a few times. My favorite track so far has got to be Archibald Beechcroft. Now, although the EP is only 3 tracks, to listen to it in its entirety is about 19 minutes, so it's a pretty decent length. There's also another album out called Relics. It's 4 tracks, and it's about 26 minutes. Now, unfortunately, since this is a one-man metal band, I don't have any live footage to show you. But I will play a few snippets of the band just so you guys can get a short taste of what I'm listening to. Check it out. Now, as for one-man metal bands, this has got to be a first for me, and it's also a first for me because this is the first time I've reviewed a stoner band, so my interest in stoner metal has pretty much gone up in this point. I really like the way this album came out, especially the way it was mixed, and for one guy to, do all of this by himself, that takes, well, I mean, bloody hell, can you imagine how many hours this guy spent in the studio trying to, record all of this? I mean, doing the drums, the guitars, the bass, the vocals. I mean, that takes an amazing amount of talent and, having to learn to play each and every instrument. Being a multi-instrumentalist is kind of has its benefits. I mean, it's not all that common that you have someone that's a multi-instrumentalist that releases, a solo project. And this guy right here, gives me inspiration, because I'm also kind of a multi-instrumentalist myself, but this guy, amazing amount of talent from this guy. Now, when I was listening to the EP Relics, one of the tracks that caught my attention was Stone Woman. Mostly because, for a metal song, this song kind of reminded me of like a classical piece. Between, the guitar playing and the bass line, this is actually possibly one of my favorite tracks off of their Relics album. Now, the album is available on bandcamp.com. It's only $5, and also, he also has it on 8-track. Some people don't know what an 8-track is. I'll post a picture of it up on the screen so you guys can take a look of it. But this guy has it on 8-track. That's absolutely amazing. 8-track merchandise. Now D actually has both of these. He gave me the vinyl, but he also has the 8-track album. Bonus points from nostalgia on this one. I don't know any other band that releases an album on 8-track. That's kind of hard to do. Now, one of the things that really stands out about the Burial Choir as well, it really does live up to its name. The title of the band is called the Burial Choir. And as for the vocals, it kind of has like a chorusy effect to it, which I'm not going to lie, that's kind of unique, especially for, stoner metal bands. Some stoner metal bands, they either add too much reverb or not enough reverb, or they might record the vocals dry. This guy used like a chorusy / reverby effects, and anyone that's, into audio mixing knows that's something that's hit or miss. If you use too much of it, then it's not going to sound good. Then if you don't use enough, then it kind of sounds crappy and amateurly made. So this guy absolutely knew what he was doing. And he gets another bonus point, for mixing and doing all this crap himself. Now, if you guys want to experience what I'm talking about, listen to the song Stone Woman. Now, when you're listening to Stone Woman, make sure you listen to the 7-minute and 30-minute mark, because that's when you finally get to, hear what I'm talking about, especially when it comes to the drums and the guitar in that part. So, to sum it all up, Burial Choir is a band that you definitely have to check out, whether you're from New Jersey or from Wisconsin or from anywhere. Matter of fact, let's just say I'm just glad this guy's from New Jersey, because it's another band that makes me proud to be from New Jersey. Now, both albums are available on Bandcamp, both for $5 too, so very reasonable price, about the price of a beer if you go to a bar. So, with all that being said, the Burial Choir is going to get the Satanic Panic Show rating of a 9.8 out of 10. This band is pretty much I wouldn't say introduction, but it piqued my interest into, listening to more stoner metal bands. Like, if this band was enough to impress me, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to want to add a lot more stoner metal bands to my list as well and check them out. You see, because I mostly tend to listen to, death metal, black metal, new wave of old school heavy metal, British heavy metal, and, punk rock and indie and all that other stuff. Stoner metal is one of those genres that kind of slips up under the radar for me. I know it's kind of embarrassing because, I'm like a metalhead, and I'm like, all right, well, this is one genre that I don't really listen to quite a lot. But like I said, after listening to this, I'm inspired to listen to more bands like this. And I'll make sure that I add them onto my review list. So that includes my little review on Burial Choir. If you like him, check him out. show your support. He has a few more, old school physical merchandise available, which is, the 8-track and the vinyl. So if you're into, reliving the nostalgia, there's a few more items available. They're in limited stock, and I don't know if they're going to be restocked or not. Probably not, because they're limited edition items, so get them while you still can, and also check out From the Dungeon podcast, Fancast Media Network, and Under the Knife Reviews. They're a heavy metal podcast. They do band and album reviews. I just listened to their review of Lamb of God, which is one of my and pretty much everybody's favorite metal band at this point. So check them out. Show them some love and support. Like I said, they're just getting started, and I'm liking what I'm hearing so far. So that's it, demons and demonesses. You guys have a good night, you stay metal, and I'll see you guys on the flip side.